Hi everyone, welcome back to Betrayed. Thank you for joining us today. We have a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My name is William Turner, a man who has faced many hardships in life. But none has been as painful as discovering betrayal inside the very place I called my safe haven, my home. The weekends before Christmas had always been a special time when my family came together. But this year, everything changed. One afternoon, while I was sitting in the living room, I received a call from my daughter, Sophia. She had come home from school for the holiday break. "Dad, I need to use your computer for a while. Mom's computer isn't working," Sophia said over the phone. Her voice sounded a bit odd. "Sure, you can use the one in my office," I replied, not thinking anything of it. That computer had been collecting dust for a long time. It was more like a piece of furniture that simply caught my eye whenever I entered the room. About an hour later, Sophia returned, looking confused. She walked quickly into my room, placed the computer on the table, and in a cold voice said, "Dad, do you know what Mom has been watching on her computer? What is this?" She stopped, staring at me as if she didn't know how to continue. I frowned, stood up, and took the computer from the table. I tried to stay calm as I looked at the screen, but what I saw made that impossible. A series of adult videos and strange articles popped up. My vision blurred when I saw one in particular. It was a video explaining how to control and dominate a husband. "Dad, why are you saving this stuff?" Sophia asked. Her voice now held both surprise and doubt. I was in disbelief. This wasn't my computer. It was Rachel's, my wife's. And I had no idea why she would save these things. It felt like my world was falling apart, and I couldn't do anything but keep looking, hoping to understand more. Then we found another folder. Inside were emails Rachel had exchanged with someone named Mistress Violet. In those messages, Mistress Violet gave Rachel advice on how to make me into a submissive husband, someone who followed every order without question. Everything was detailed, from assigning me household chores to encouraging her to insult me and treat me with disrespect, expecting me to accept it silently. Sophia looked at me, her face full of confusion. "Dad, did you know about this?" she asked. But I couldn't respond. The feeling I had in that moment is hard to describe. Pain gripped me deeply. I looked at the screen and saw the image of a woman I had loved for 18 years. But now, she looked like a stranger to me. She had changed and I didn't know why. What do I do now? I asked myself. All I could think was, I need the truth. I have to understand everything before I take any action. After discovering those disturbing videos and the undeniable emails, I couldn't sleep. My whole body felt tense, like something inside me was breaking apart. It felt like I was trapped in a horror movie, where every step I took brought me closer to a dark unknown. Rachel, the woman who had stood beside me for nearly 20 years, now seemed like someone completely different. The next morning, after Sophia went back to school, I knew I had to act. I needed more proof and a clearer picture of what was happening. But I couldn't do it openly. If Rachel found out I was investigating, she would know I had discovered her secret. I couldn't give her the chance to hide anything. I had to move carefully, cautiously. I needed solid evidence. One evening, while Rachel was working late, I decided to search through the computers at home. I couldn't believe she had been keeping so many secrets from me. Rachel's office had always been her private space. I rarely paid attention to it. But today, it became the place where I had to dig deeper. I quietly opened her laptop. On the screen, I saw unread notifications from online stores and her usual work documents. But when I opened her email, what I found sent a chill down my spine. One of the emails had the subject, "This plan could make everything better." As I read the next line, I could hardly believe my eyes. Rachel had been communicating with someone named Alex Carter, a name I had never heard before. At first, the emails seemed professional. But when I checked some older ones, I noticed something odd. These messages weren't just about work, they hinted at intimate meetings. "We will meet this weekend. I've prepared everything. It's all set. You don't need to worry." One message from Alex said. I couldn't keep reading. It felt like I had been hit by a powerful shock. How had I not seen this before? The change in how Rachel treated me, the late nights with no explanation. I finally understood everything. Still, I kept digging through Rachel's emails. I couldn't stop, even though I knew I was invading her privacy. But I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to know the full truth. The deeper I went, the more I felt like I was being dragged into a dangerous trap. One of the most disturbing emails had the subject line, "We need to prepare better for him." I hesitated to open it, but deep down, I knew this was the answer I had been searching for. I couldn't allow any more doubts. I had to face the truth. In the email, Rachel was talking to someone named Laura, a former friend of hers. Together, they discussed a detailed plan to control my life. They spoke about how to make sure I couldn't resist, about turning me into a submissive man who followed every order without complaint. "He always spoils you, Rachel. He won't fight back. You just have to make him think it's the right thing to do. If he doesn't listen, just threaten to leave him." Laura wrote. This wasn't just cheating, it was a deliberate plan to destroy not only love, but also the mutual respect in our marriage. I felt like I was being pushed out of my own life. After reading those messages, I knew I couldn't stay silent. I had to act. But this time, I needed help. I contacted Samuel Hughes, a well-known divorce lawyer in the city. He was someone I could trust, not just to protect my legal rights and assets, but also to guide me through what I knew would be a tough battle. Samuel listened carefully to my story. After I finished, he looked at me and said, "William, you need to stay strong. Don't allow yourself to be hurt any further. You have clear evidence, and based on what you've shown me, you have every right to demand a fair settlement. If the truth comes out, it could cause serious consequences for your wife." But I didn't just want a divorce. I wanted Rachel to understand the gravity of what she had done. I don't just want to end the marriage. I want Rachel to realize that what she's done is unforgivable. I told him, my voice filled with anger. After meeting with Samuel, my determination grew. I realized I wasn't only dealing with emotional betrayal, I was walking into a calculated, strategic battle. I decided to confront Rachel, but in a way she wouldn't expect. I began pretending to be the submissive husband, just like she wanted. I accepted all her complaints, did every chore without argument. Every day felt like swallowing poison, but I knew I had to play along to catch her off guard. A week later, Rachel began to act like she had full control over me. She started making more and more demands, completely ignoring how I felt. I could see the satisfaction in her eyes, but I didn't let her know that I was aware of everything. I just kept obeying silently. Finally, the moment I had been waiting for arrived. One evening, Rachel came home confidently, not suspecting a thing. She began speaking about changes she wanted to make in our lives, but this time I stopped her. "Rachel, do you really think you can deceive me without facing consequences? Do you believe you can command me like I have no dignity?" I interrupted her. She froze. Her eyes widened, her body tensed. I knew she hadn't expected this. She had no idea that I had uncovered everything. Rachel had created her own world, one where I was the obedient, quiet husband who followed her every wish. But that man was gone. Everything she thought I hadn't seen was now a painful wound I could no longer ignore. As she stepped into the living room, I was ready. It felt like we had reached the point of no return. I looked into Rachel's eyes, the same eyes I had loved for 18 years, but now they felt unfamiliar to me. She still didn't know I had discovered the truth, the secrets, the betrayal, the carefully planned manipulation. "William, are you even listening to me? All I want is for us to change, to make life more exciting," Rachel said in a confident tone, acting like nothing was wrong. I stared at her, my anger growing with every second. "More exciting?" I asked coldly. "So, was pushing me into a corner where I couldn't breathe your idea of excitement? Was lying to me and manipulating me part of that plan?" Rachel flinched. I saw a flicker of fear in her eyes, though she tried to hide it. "You know I didn't mean any harm. It's just—" She stopped, struggling to come up with an excuse. But I didn't give her the chance. "I've seen everything. The videos, the emails, your conversations with another man. You thought I wouldn't notice?" I said. Each word hit her like a blade. Every sentence was a reflection of the betrayal I had endured. She stood still, her face pale. The confidence she once had vanished instantly. "William, you can't do this to me," Rachel said, panic creeping into her voice. "And what do you think I'm going to do?" I replied, my voice calm but sharp. "You probably thought I'd keep being the same silent husband, let you keep destroying our marriage without standing up for myself." Rachel took a step back. Rachel looked at me as if she was scared of what I might do. She had no idea that I had prepared everything in advance. I had carefully mapped out every step I needed to take to bring her face to face with the truth. I had already met with a lawyer. I had gathered all the evidence. And now, it was time for her to confront the consequences of what she had done. I pulled out my phone and dialed Alex Carter. The man I had just discovered was secretly involved with Rachel. My voice didn't shake. "Hello, Alex. I think we need to talk for a moment," I said coldly over the phone. There was a pause on the other end. I heard hesitation in his voice. But before he could say anything, I pressed the speakerphone button. Rachel stood frozen. Her eyes widened in shock, unable to believe what was happening. "Who are you talking to?" she asked, panic clear in her voice. I didn't answer her. I just kept going. "Can you explain this relationship to me, Alex? The one Rachel thought she had kept hidden?" I asked sharply. There was another pause, but Alex couldn't deny it. "William, I don't know what to say. I was wrong," he admitted quietly. Rachel's face went pale. It felt like his words had pierced her heart. She stood still, the panic in her eyes shifting into a blank, stiff expression. It was as if she collapsed emotionally right in front of me. Everything was out in the open now. There was nowhere left to hide. "I don't understand why you're doing this to me, William," Rachel cried, tears beginning to fall. "I made a mistake, but I didn't think you'd react like this." But I felt no sympathy. I had been through too many lies, too much betrayal. "Don't say anything else," I said firmly. "You didn't just betray me with another man. You betrayed everything we built together over 18 years. After the call with Alex ended, I didn't allow myself to hesitate. It was time to end it for good. No more chances. No more lies. No more forgiveness. Rachel, you've hurt me too much." I continued, my voice calm, but filled with finality. "Now it's time to talk about consequences. Do you want to keep pretending this marriage can be saved, or do you want to end it?" She lowered her head and couldn't even look me in the eyes. She knew the damage was done, and there was no going back. Her promises to change meant nothing anymore. "I can't keep living like this. You'll have to face the consequences," I said with quiet strength. "We're getting a divorce." Rachel broke down in tears. "William, I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix this," she sobbed. But I had no more energy for apologies. Her betrayal had gone too far. To me, this wasn't just about infidelity. It was about the destruction of everything we had shared. And the price she would pay was more than just emotional loss. It came with real, unavoidable legal, financial, and social consequences. Things escalated quickly. Rachel tried every possible way to convince me to take her back. But I had no feelings left for her. The pain had burned through all of it. I contacted my lawyer and officially began the divorce process. The consequences Rachel had to face were inevitable. I demanded a fair division of assets, including full ownership of the house and a significant share of her wealth. Rachel's company, the one she always used to boast about, would now face a strict reevaluation. It might even be sold off to cover debts. I was no longer the weak, submissive man she thought she could manipulate. Everything I had been through had made me stronger. And in the end, I didn't win out of revenge. I won because I refused to let deceit destroy me. Rachel eventually left, carrying her tears of regret. But by then, it was too late. This chapter of my life closed with me standing firm in my decision, and with valuable lessons learned from the pain. From this betrayal, I've learned: respect yourself. Never let anyone use your kindness against you. When you see injustice, don't stay silent. Stand up for yourself. whether in love or life. Always stay true to who you are. Even when life puts you in painful situations, never lose faith in yourself. Take control of your life. Don't let anyone destroy your self-worth. I can't change the past, but I can choose how my future will unfold. And that is what matters most.